The door?
Oh yeah. You don't need the bed memory for anything?
No. That's all right, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, just a sec.
Okay, come on in.
Alright, so see, there's a lot. Good bags worth.
Are you out in the living room here? Just into the living room here.
Alright. See, I didn't even know what I was going to do with them, because what do you do with a bunch of old tapes? I didn't want to throw them in the trash, so we're going to get a chance to go through them.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, Godfather. Godfather Part 2. I'll take those.
Great.
Right off the bat. There you got something. Okay. Oh, $1 Million Baby. I love that movie.
Oh, great.
That's great. Okay. I may not take everything that looks good. You know, I just
Take whatever you
I
want.
want to expand. What else?
108?
American History X. I've seen that, so that's one I think I want. And about Schmidt. That adds to my. I already have at least 2 of his movies. Alexander Payne. So let's see. Do I want all of these? Da, 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 da. No. There's some here that I'm half interested in. I'm not going to take because I'm already taking so much that I don't really. Ooh, Apocalypse. I'll take that. Okay.
Have you ever seen the Truman Show?
No, I think I. Oh, wait a second now. Maybe I did see it. Peter Weir, he's a famous. Andrew Nicole, the writer's famous, yeah.
Good movie.
Oh my God, you have a deer hunter too.
Yep.
Oh my God, this is almost too much. It's like a wealth of. Okay, I really don't want to take any more than that. I just can't absorb that much more all at once. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, if you don't mind. And you just take and you give them away, put them at the side of the road, or dump them wherever you want to do.
Okay.
Sometimes people take them, and if you put out a box of free stuff.
Yeah. Do the next
Okay.
song. Can you tell me what the next song is going to be?
Called Wild Mountain Time, old, very often done Scottish folk song. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the leaves are sweetly turning, and the wild mountain thyme blooms around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? If my true love will not go, I will surely find another to pull wild mountain thyme all around the purple heather. Will you go?
Tom, I'm sorry. Can we start over? I'm sorry
Yeah, sure.
about that.
Something having to do with the sound level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Do you ever write songs?
Yes. When I had a band, I wrote a bunch, and I was trying to, sort of a punk band,
Really?
and I copyrighted about 8 songs, and they're down at the Library of Congress. Yes.
Really?
I sent them a cassette, but I don't know if they're, because they were on a cassette that I did, and I can't even remember if I used an acoustic guitar or electric guitar. I think I used an acoustic guitar, but they were solo versions of songs I was trying to do with the band. And I had a band, and we actually played out a couple times in clubs in New Haven, but then the other guys were older guys with family, commitments and stuff, and I couldn't really get them to continue with it. I wanted to keep doing it, so.
When was this? What was the band?
Mid-'80s. So.
What was the band called?
Ways of Sin. And the name came from, because I was talking with this Jehovah's Witness guy. He had been, I guess he had been kind of a hippie at one time and had gone to rock festivals and stuff. And I think his name was Mike. And I said to him, "Now, Mike, didn't you used to have long hair?" And he said, "Yeah, but I left behind the ways of sin." It's weird, but I consider myself a cover artist now instead of a singer-songwriter. I used to be really into that. I mean, when I had my band, I really didn't want to do any covers at one point. I wanted to do like all originals. And I think when we played, the few times we played, we'd play like, 9 originals and 1 cover or something. It was a totally different. I own a classical guitar because I received a guitar for high school graduation, and it was a classical guitar. It was the wrong guitar for me, and I played it for decades until I finally got this thing for a present. I still have my classical guitar in my closet. Oh wow, there's a string that's broken. And then on the G string, you could get these white nylon wound strings, which they were kind of hard to find, but I think when I was still playing it, I was buying those. I didn't even realize there was a string broken in here that I have to get out, replace. That was my working guitar for like 30 years. That I did all my for all my acoustic playing. What else do I'm sorry, the inside foam of my microphone thing all disintegrated. That's what all this crap is, and I'm finding all over the place. I wanted to show you all my Neil Youngs.
Okay.
Because in the vinyls, there's probably more Neil Youngs than any others. This whole collection. So I'm into him as much, probably even maybe more so for guitar than for songwriting. I think he has a lot of good songwriting. I just, in terms of what drew me to him so much was the guitar. And I used to play on keyboard. I used to do Endless Cowgirl in the Sand and Down by the River version. I don't know if you heard me when you heard me playing. I don't know if you heard me ever playing those, but I would do like half-hour versions, of those. They were already 10 minutes long, and I would do just to go on and on and on. So this was a lot of Jolene and I Will Always Love You were like her 2 most famous songs, and they're both on here. And I even had this poster up for a while, I think. But there's a lot of great stuff of her on YouTube. You know, live stuff. But if I were to name my two favorite overall Dylan albums, it'd be these two. And then some of the other, like Mozart and Beethoven, I got into, you know, winds, brass, and I have some classical guitar records too, both CDs, and Christopher Parkening, Julian Bream. I like listening to that stuff. That's probably one of my favorite classical music is classical guitar. Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying. This is a British Invasion song by another Liverpool group, Jerry and the Pacemakers. Don't let the sun catch you crying. The night's the time for all your tears. Your heart may be broken tonight, but tomorrow in the morning light, don't let the sun catch you crying. Nighttime shadows disappear, and with them go all of your tears. For the morning will bring joy for every girl and boy. So don't let the sun catch you crying. We know that crying's not a bad thing, but stop your crying when the birds sing. It may be hard to discover that you've been left for another, but don't forget that love's a game, and it can always come again. So don't let the sun catch you crying. Don't let the sun catch you crying. No, no, no.
Great.
Right here. I don't know if you got enough light there.
Yeah, you want to read it to me?
Yeah. Novel, Great Gatsby. Film, The Searchers. I don't know if there was more than one film by that name, but that was the one with John Wayne in it. Band, The Talking Heads. I never could get with them. Even though I borrowed several of their albums and listened to them over and over. Band, Dylan album, Time Out of Mind. Neil Young album, Tonight's the Night, which actually I think is pretty good in some places. I just think I can't stand the way critics fawned over it. Sitcom, Modern Family. Dull ass. I don't even find it funny at all. Cheese, Mozzarella. Rolling Stones song, Midnight Rambler. Yeah, I thought I could make a bigger deal and have more categories here, but, you know, it didn't get very far. it just, I got kind of obsessed with certain things that annoyed me that I thought people were overrating.
What about things that are underrated?
Underrated. The biggest category of that right now are some country singers that I think that I think a lot of mainstream people don't care about or are not interested. Like I really love Lady Antebellum, and I don't know if they're that critically, and some other country people like that I like. Some lesser known people, like that, and I don't know about. See, maybe I haven't kept up with criticism all that much lately, so I don't know. I mean, that would probably be a bigger category if I read more criticism, So, I used to read rock criticism all the time, and it's just that the past, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 years of my life, I've been so focused on, in terms of music that I listen to, I've been focused on country music, and that's been the majority of albums I've bought, basically CDs. And now there's too many CDs to fit in this space. I mean, there's a few people that I've gotten into that are like Lady Gaga and Adele, and but most of the people, the new performers that I newly discovered in the past 9 years have been country. And so my viewpoint on the music world is a little bit skewed because of that. Those are to me are the major people right now.
The country,
the biggest, like Brad Paisley, Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves. That's my newest one. That's the one I'm actually crazy about right now.
all right.
So Jules, if you have any other areas or questions you want to ask me about or anything, if you can think of something. I mean, I'm thinking of things I can tell you, but I don't. There may be other things.
Well, we'll go with what you want to do, and then if there's anything else,
okay.
Go from there. At least it's a nice day out.
Yeah, it is. So when I was a little kid, I was a total, almost idiot savant level of facts and figures of all kinds and route numbers and everything. So, of course, the Wilbur Cross and other routes were really, I knew them all when I was 7 years old. I used to direct my family, going to the beach and stuff. But the Wilbur Cross from my town was a really important highway to go places, go on trips to New York and New Jersey, so you're going right on Quinnipiac. You're crossing the Quinnipiac River. When I was a little kid, one of my uncles used to take us down here looking for watercress. Now, I never actually remember eating the watercress, but years later I heard that people made watercress sandwiches. So that's the river, and so I was really aware of even when I was really little, I was really aware of the geography of where I was. Okay, you're going to go left up here at the, there's a V here. Over here, and there it is. Red Scroll Records, exactly where I thought it was. And if you can get in one of these driveways, you might be going to get into one of these parking lots here. I don't know. And park behind there. Sorry, it's all backed up here. Yeah, that's their parking lot right there. You can go in that. If you can loop around here and bump over all these bumps. I don't think there's any back. I don't think.
Why don't you just go right there, Carl?
Oh, you got a shady. Yeah. I don't know if there may be a back entrance there, but I don't know if it's open from the back there. But
Should we go over to the church first?
what's the
You
point?
want to walk over to the church first?
Yeah, I can do that if you. Okay, so when I was a little kid, I was a really dedicated little Catholic. You know, to the point where it drove me crazy because I was, you know, we had priests that told us all about hell all the time. Yeah. And I remember one priest particularly giving this sermon about imagine 1 trillion years in hell, delivered from that very pulpit inside that church. And so by the time I was about 14 or 15, you know, as is typical of teenagers, I, you know, started having all doubts, you know, about my belief. You know, a lot of it had to do with sexual stuff. I just said, I can't believe that this is supposed to be all sinful, all this sexual feeling stuff. So by the time I was about 16, I was probably becoming an atheist, and I've been one ever since. But it's just the Catholic Church is such a major part of my background and my family's life, and that I feel it's very interesting that we end up in this spot here, you know, where this was such an important part of my life. You know, that I was really into like first communion, confirmation. You know, we had little processions and stuff where when we were little, we'd go down to the church carrying candles and stuff. So I was really big on all that stuff. This another kind of old traditional song here. This is actually a gospel Christian song called Wayfaring Stranger. I am a poor wayfaring stranger traveling through this world of woe. There's no sickness, toil or danger in that wide world to which I go. I'm going there, see my Father, going there, no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan, only going over home. I know dark clouds, they gather round me. I know my way is rough and steep. Beauteous fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed the vigils keep. I'm going there, see my mother, going there, no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan, only going over home. I'm only going over home.
Do you like Christian music?
Like which?
Do you like Christian music?
Yeah. I mean, partly because partly because I am I like the tension in that I'm still willing to do it. You know, that I find something, I don't know, interesting about that. But I mean, it's just that I've discovered all these great songs. That's basically it. I think they're great. And that, you know, I think what my idea is that even if I'm not a believer, I feel I can sense the passion that believers put into their religious faith, and that's what I'm sort of trying to tap into, kind of, you know, like, and that's why I like the music. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how. If somebody was right here now and they were a believer, they might be insulted. I don't know, by you know, that I'm doing music about their beliefs, and I don't go along with it. But you know, it's the music that I'm into, really, basically, and that. So. One of my friends was a painting contractor for a while, and I think he had, I think it was the same storefront as the record shop here. One of these was along here with his shop.
You're looking for something in particular?
Well, yeah, Skeeter Davis, this singer that I was nuts about a few years ago, that's from the 50s and 60s. She was also kind of a crossover, so I don't know if she necessarily be, but she was very country for a while, that's right, but I don't see any. I was wondering if any of her original albums would be. All right, so I think I'm going to direct you up Center Street, Carl.
Wait, before we do that, what were your thoughts on the store?
Well, I was impressed, but I was kind of overwhelmed. I mean, I'm amazed that, and I tried to compliment him. I said, you know, this is a great thing that you and all the record store owners, you know, are doing. And he did mention that he knew other people, you know, that own record stores that I knew. But, you know, just it seems like he could be a little friendlier to customers, you know. Anyway. But thank you so much for taking me there, because that's a place I want to revisit and
you're welcome.
Spend more time.
You mentioned to me in the past briefly that you went out to California for a little bit.
Right, yeah. You can go right here, Carl. Yeah, I went out a couple times, actually. In 73, the year before I worked in this factory, I went out with a friend of mine, but I only stayed a month and a half, and lived in Santa Cruz, which is south of San Francisco. And then I stayed in various other places in the state, and I left California in early 75, and I've been back there since. So you want to go left at this light, Carl, and you'll be right on your way to Wilbur Cross. You just continue, and your GPS, I'm sorry, you already know this. So yeah, so it was mainly because my friends were all doing it, so I wanted to imitate them and be like them. Everybody wanted to go to California, and I was also into Jack Kerouac, reading On the Road, so I was excited to stop in places where Jack Kerouac had been, stuff like that. You know, my friends, a lot of it had to do with what my friends told me about. And so.
But you didn't like it enough to stay?
Well, I couldn't find work, because I had hair down to here, and it was in the middle of a bad recession where the unemployment was like 11% or something. So I couldn't get hired. There was one job, if I cut my hair, I could have been like a busboy at one restaurant. If I had made that one decision to let me just go along with cutting my hair, my whole life might have been different. I might have stayed out there. By the way, on the left is Wallace's Silversmith, another famous old silversmith, along with International Silver. My grandmother worked there. So yeah, so the California thing was just because, you know, I wanted to be cool like my friends. You didn't need much motivation to take action. It was weird like that. Wow, there's actually a canoe out on the river here. By the way, if you guys want to stop for lunch, it's on me. If you want to stop for lunch up in Wallingford or something, I don't know if you get hungry.
Hello, how you doing today?
Hi. I don't know how you feel about interspersing my political opinions and things.
Go right ahead. What do you think?
But it might work for the thing you're doing. Yeah, I'm very opinionated about a lot of subjects. So.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I think. I'm generally liberal, and I support Democrats. I'm kind of interested in the way people come up, what their priorities are for political opinions and so forth. What's important to, like Trump supporters now, in defense of Trump would probably say, look how well the economy's doing. We have really low unemployment and relatively high economic growth, and they really have a valid point. It's just that from where I'm coming from, I have other issues that I have problems with that side with.
What are your priorities?
Well, for one thing, I'm radically pro-choice on abortion, and I also philosophically feel the government should do more for people rather than less. So I tend to not be in favor of tax cuts because I want the government to actually spend more money on helping people who are less fortunate. And a lot of it also comes from, I know people who are struggling. And I know that a lot of the current jobs in the good job market are actually low-paying jobs without health benefits. And I think, healthcare. I think there should be universal healthcare, either, single payer Canada or national healthcare, Britain, something like that. I think I can't believe the way people resist national health care in this country, but
yeah.
So that's an area where I have a strong opinion on the subject.
Did you vote?
Yes, I vote every election. In every presidential election since 1972, I voted, and I voted for Democrats every year except 1980. I voted for the Libertarian candidate, Ed Clark, who came in third behind Reagan came in fourth actually, Reagan, Carter, Anderson, and he got like 1% of the vote. And I went into this big libertarian period now, back then, because I read Ayn Rand's novels.
I noticed you had Atlas Shrugged.
Right, yeah, I was big into Ayn Rand nut and everything. And
does that still speak to you?
kind of, in a way. I mean, I'm not libertarian in the sense that I actually want government to be bigger. Here's your exit, Carl. My father hated racism, and I think really, I think he hated the way blacks were treated, and he was really glad when the civil rights movement came along, so that was part of our family history, that we were aware of that. And so I have a direct memory of segregation because our family went to Florida in 1963, and I remember colored-only bathrooms, like the last year of that, so we caught. And I remember my father, we went to a hotel. We stayed at a hotel on the beach, north of Miami Beach, and he said something like, that black people can't stay at any of these hotels. And I couldn't believe it. I looked up and down the beach. There was an endless line of hotels up and down. I said, none of them? And many years later, I learned that they had whole separate resorts for black people in Florida. They were all separate towns, so. You mentioned that there's some other website you might put this on that does sort of specializes in this kind of thing. Because I'd like you to put it on YouTube so I can tell people I'm on YouTube. Let's go. Blah, 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 blah. But it's up to you. Okay.
Or just talk to me.
Want me to just start singing that first song that I was?
Yeah, sure.
It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. I went across the river and I laid down to sleep. Went across the river and I laid down to sleep. Went across the river, I laid down to sleep. When I woke up, there were shackles on my feet. Oh, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man, sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. I got 29 links of chains around my legs. 29 links, chains around my legs. 29 links, chains around my leg, and on each link, the initials of my name. Oh, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man, sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long.
So what was that song?
Worried Man Blues.
Who's it by?
I don't even know.
It's like
Because I just heard it on online. I don't have any recordings of it, and I heard it. Well, when Pete Seeger went on Johnny Cash's show in 1969, they did it together, and so that's one version. And I'm trying to think of it's covered by a lot of people, but I can't. Oh, the Carter family did it way back, like in the 20s. The second generation, that's probably the one that most influenced me. The daughters, June Carter and the three sisters. They were the second generation of the Carters, and that's probably the first version I heard. But the one with Johnny Cash and Pete Seeger really stuck in my mind because it was so out there and demonstrative.
I like this thing. It's cool.
Yeah, that's a God's Eye that a former girlfriend gave me unbelievably long time ago. It was in summer of 1974.
What does that mean, a God's eye?
I would have to look it up again. It's supposed to, that's what they call them, the God's Eye. But I would have to look up and see what I've forgotten the meaning, behind that.
It's cool. What is
But
this?
I put it in every single. Even though the person later never wanted to talk to me again, who gave it to me, because I took off on her, but I fell in love with it, and I put it in every single place I've lived ever since then.
So you're in love with the thing, but you weren't in love
Yeah.
with the girl?
Yeah, something. Yeah, I don't want to get into my relationship stuff. But I have regrets about, she probably would have been a really good partner for me, but it's all kind of dusty too. It needs to be cleaned, and I don't know if you can see. I can see dust on there.
Tom, I know that you were in a relationship with a woman, but you still spent time with her, right?
Oh, this Diane, this same person that. Actually, I have a few ex-girlfriends that I'm still friends with.
Yeah.
I have some ex-girlfriends that I'm not with, but I actually have about 3 ex-girlfriends. But this one particular woman, Diane, who's the home health care aide,
Yeah.
who arranged for me to play at the talent show thing.
Yeah.
And she's a person that I'm in really frequent contact. She's like my best friend just about now. And then, but she's just very loyal and there, and likes to call me and likes to talk about what's going on in her life, with me, and so. And I have another former girlfriend that lives in North Carolina, and I went out with her like about almost 15 years ago, and we only went out for a few months, but we stayed friends, and so I've actually been in touch with her too. So those are probably the 2 most significant people that I'm still in touch with in terms of romantic relationships. So, but anyway, that's. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Some people say that they don't want to. Once they break up with someone, they don't want to have anything more to do with them. But I tend to be the opposite for some reason.
You don't find that difficult?
No.
No?
I find it more difficult to not have any more contact. I guess because in a romantic relationship, there's some kind of thing that happens that is like a special connection, and then it's so special I never want to give it up completely in my whole life. So so I mean, like I have a couple of former girlfriends that, like one person, she's been dead for a number of years now, so actually 20 years, but we had a very brief romantic relationship, like 2 weeks, and then she became my best friend for 10 years, and then she passed away. We stayed friends. So I mean, stuff like that happens in my life. That. So I don't like the idea of having no more. But there've been a couple people that just absolutely did not want to have any more contact. So that was okay. I understood why.
But you're single right now?
Yeah, I'm single right now. Yeah. It might be. I mean, this is actually a bad time for me to be thinking about it, even because of the driving thing. So that, I mean, if I did anything, my limited mobility. Oh, by the way, about your mail. The last time I talked to you, did you just tell me to throw out your mail? Was that what we talked about? Because I couldn't find it.
I don't think that we said that, but that's fine, because if it was really important, then...
I don't think there was, but I thought I still had a little pile for you, and I can't find it. Yeah. This here is my mother graduating from, that's my mother, graduating from nursing school. That's her obituary. And this is, this woman here is the mother of this woman here. That's how I knew her, because they were nursing school buddies. This is a woman I became friends with in the past few years. Kind of a literary type connection. That's my mother as a young woman. That's Diane, the woman I was telling you about. This is my father and the three of us. I'm the middle kid here. This is in Cape Cod in 1959. And he just caught that fish, and me and my two brothers are standing around admiring his fish. This is my sister. She got written up in the New York Times because she discovered a Paul Revere document. And she works in rare books at the Brown Library. It's actually a unit of the Brown Library. So we were all excited because they interviewed her for the Times. And
She a younger sister?
yeah, my youngest. She's 10 years younger. She just turned 55 too. 56. And then, I'm always into my favorite songs, the lyrics of my favorite songs. I put them up. They sometimes change to different. A lot of these are actually country songs. So, Brad Paisley and there's an Eric Church song up here and Casey Musgrave song and stuff. So there's, I like to mix them up. Oh, clouds so swift, rain won't lift, gate won't close, railings froze. Get your mind off winter time, 'cause you ain't going nowhere. Ooh-wee, ride me high, tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair. Well, I don't care how many letters they send. Morning came and morning went. Pick up your money and pack up your tent, 'cause you ain't going nowhere. Ooh, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair. Oh, buy me a flute and a gun that shoots, tailgates, substitutes. Strap yourself to a tree with roots, 'cause you ain't going nowhere. Ooh, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair. Oh, Genghis Khan could not keep all his kings supplied with sleep, but we climb that hill no matter how steep. When we get up to it, ooh, ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair. Ride me high. Tomorrow's the day my bride's gonna come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the easy chair.
What was that song?
That's a Dylan song. It's from the same batch that produced I Shall Be Released, the Basement tapes.